Hello and welcome to Critically Disdained. In honor of the news that we received a few months ago that Sum 41 is working on a new double album which will be called Heaven and Hell, I will be starting a short series where we go through their 7 studio albums. Plus, in this video, we will be discussing their first EP, Half Hour of Power. Now, the intent of these videos is to give some background to the albums and a bit of history that goes along with them, as well as hopefully sharing some trivia about these albums that maybe you haven't heard before. So, with that said, let's get right into the Half Hour of Power. This was Sum 41's first release, and technically it is between an EP and a full-length album. It does have the correct amount of songs for a full album, and on the CD release there's 3.5 minutes of silence at the end of the record, which brings it to a full 30 minutes, which is generally accepted as the minimum amount of time to be considered a full-length album. But actual music time is less than 30 minutes, which on the current digital and vinyl releases, the silence that was tacked onto the end of the CD is not present. So we're going to consider this an EP. Even though this is technically their first release through Island Def Jam Records, there's a reason for it being so short in length and why they made it an EP. And the story behind it is this. They went into the studio and they recorded their live set list. Because at this point, according to a Derek Whibley interview with Alternative Press, they were still doing gigs as an opening band, and they only had 30 minutes for their sets. So they went into the studio and they recorded their set list, which they called the Half Hour of Power, hence the name of this EP. This also was the first work that they ever did with Greg Norrie, who produced a total of 3 of Sum 41's records and also became their manager on and off throughout the first few years. The whole EP is a bit all over the place with the chosen style. Even though you can clearly hear what would come to be the Sum 41 sound that you find for them over their albums, in this EP you do get a mix of rap verses, pop punk bass lines, some slight metal sounding riffs, and most out of character, we get some horns on Second Chance for Max Headroom, which for some fans is a nostalgic sound, even though it doesn't fit who they became and the music that they've put out over the last 20 years. But to a newer listener that started off with some of their later albums, it would probably feel rather strange to listen to. But despite the sound being a bit sporadic, it is a solid EP that's a lot of fun to listen to, and at the time of release, it fit very well with the pop-punk scene of the time, because this is around the same time that Blink-182 released Enema of State, and then they would be releasing their Take Off Your Pants album, Green Day, Bowling for Soup, New Found Glory, Goldfinger, The Offspring's Conspiracy of One. These were the prominent pop-punk bands of the time. So this EP, even though it was a bit sporadic, when you listen to it, it fits right in with all the other artists. So I think we can forgive the sporadicness and give it its due credit. That at the time, they were a punk band working towards getting their name out there. They were able to use the music on the EP over top of videos that they had recorded of them doing crazy, silly teenage stuff to start gaining attention of different labels. And eventually, they did stay with Island Def Jam Records, and they put out a total of 5 records with them. 6 if you include the Half Hour of Power EP. So, if you want to get a taste of early 2000s pop punk and also see what Sum 41's starting sound was, start from the very beginning, right here with their first EP, Half Hour of Power. It's a good listen, and those of us who want a taste of nostalgia, this is a good way to go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. What is your favorite memory about this album? Was it the first Sum 41 music you heard? Do you have a fun fact that you feel should have been in this video? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and next time we'll talk about their first full-length album, All Killer, No Filler. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you here next time on Critically Disdained.